Okay, well, I don't want to hold us up too long. I usually do like a little introduction before we get started anyway. Um, oh, actually, I think we just went live on YouTube right now, so that is perfect. So I'm just going to start our recording here. Okay. Yeah, we are all good to go. So we're recording, we're on YouTube. This event is being recorded and it will be posted for future viewing on the MNS YouTube channel. Participation in or attending this online video event grants MNS the right to record and use your voice, likeness, and live video feed. So now that we've got that out of the way, there we go. So Tanche, hello everyone, and welcome to Métis Nation Saskatchewan's 33rd Tea and Talks event. This month's Métis Health Series will feature Shelley, and I'll let her introduce herself later. She'll be guiding us through some breathwork exercises, and we'll also be having a conversation about our nervous system. So my name's Katie Tolley. I'm the Health Promotion Coordinator for Métis Nation Saskatchewan, and I'll be moderating the conversation tonight. I'm a proud Métis woman, born and raised in Prince Albert, now living in Warman, Saskatchewan. We have people joining us from all over Saskatchewan and maybe even Canada tonight. So if you would like, you can share where you're joining from in the chat or in the YouTube comments. We're very glad that you're here either on Zoom or watching on YouTube. So this is a monthly online series that brings health and well-being knowledge and expertise to Métis citizens. It's a safe space where you can ask your health-related questions and we can all learn together. These online gatherings happen once a month and they focus on different health-related topics. So before we get started, I will hand it over to Elder Calvin Reset to open our event in a good way.
Thank you very much, Katie. I would just like to call on Creator to watch over our older brothers and our older sisters. We know them as the trees, the plants, the water, the animals, the birds, the sky above us, the ground below us. Ask Creator to watch over those that are struggling in some way, perhaps with a disease of some sort, perhaps with addiction issues, perhaps food security, perhaps housing, maybe poor health. Whatever they're struggling with, Creator, please help them. We also call on Creator to watch over our elders and our little ones. Keep those homes safe and those home fires burning. Keep the family units strong. The elders are our stories and our history, and the little ones are our future. Watch over them, Creator. For those that are traveling today and with busy schedules to and from work and to and from events, of course, in the near future, Creator, watch over those folks. Take them safely to their destinations and help them, guide them. And of course, ask Creator to watch over all of us that are plugged in tonight, that are listening, that are part of the gathering. And certainly a special blessing goes out to our presenter tonight. So with that, we ask Creator to give us a good visit and a very lively session. And I'll turn it back to you, Katie. Hi.
Thank you so much. So yeah, I will hand it over to our speaker, Shelley, tonight. Thank you so much for joining us tonight and sharing your knowledge with us.
Hey, thank you for having me. Thank you for the blessing. Um, so I'll tell a little bit about myself. I am Shelley Enns. I'm from Kent River. Shell's Fitness and Soul Center is my business, and I guess it's my way of life too. And I started out as a my just to bring it also in. My mom was born on Gordon James Smith Reserve. That's where she's by Penachai. And I haven't had a lot to do with my Indigenous heritage, and I've just been slowly coming back to it and learning different things. I took my Indigenous yoga training. Like I said, I started out as I think I said that. I started out as a fitness instructor, but then became a personal trainer, life coach, and took my yoga training and meditation training. And I've been on this journey for a while, and just it's a continuous journey. I always say I'm a student before I'm a teacher. And yeah, I just like to share a little bit. Has anybody taken any yoga here, like Katie or anybody? Are you familiar with some yoga and different meditation?
I'm a little bit familiar. We actually did a recent Tea and Talks. We did a chair yoga session, so we had
Okay.
a little introduction to that.
Okay. Did you take that with Adrian? I was curious, Adrian Van Gogh.
We had it with Tyson Fetch from Tapestry
Oh,
Yoga
okay.
in
Yes,
Albert.
yes. I have done stuff with Celeste and Tyson too, and he took his Indigenous yoga training, and then we took our chair yoga was part of that training, and that was with Van Gogh Wellness. So yes, that I've taken all different types of yoga training, and yeah, there's just so much to learn, right? And the big thing is when I was taking, like I ran marathons and did taekwondo and was really doing a lot of things physically. And as life kept throwing different things at me, it wasn't until I took my meditation training and really got into the depth of understanding our nervous system that it was kind of like the missing piece of the puzzle that all kind of brought everything together, the mind, body, spirit. And I really feel like if I just the different things I've gone through in my life, that if I hadn't understood this, I don't know where I'd be right now, because I feel like it really helped me just get through all the different struggles. And because at one time I had where my inflammation was really strong, I had all the signs of a heart attack, and it was just from my nervous system being overactivated from the different struggles I've been through. So yeah, do you want me to just go ahead and start with a little exercise right now then?
Yeah, I think that'd be great. So we can get right into it.
Okay. Okay. So we can all benefit from a nice deep breath, but it's better if you learn how to do it right by learning how to control our inhale and exhale, and it can influence how we feel in the moment. So deep, slow breaths activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which in turn helps decrease your heart rate and blood pressure and just get you to more calm, relaxed body, then sends your brain feedback that all is well, which helps dissipate anger, irritation, and anxiety. So, but also learning how to breathe. And I can see Katie and a couple of you there. Just put your hand up if when you breathe, do you inhale like this, like from the top part of your lungs, or do you inhale and expand? So tell me if you inhale it like this, put your hand up if that's how you inhale from just the top part of your lungs and take it. Inhale like that. Put your hand up if that's how you inhale. Okay. Or do you inhale and open up and expand? Katie, which do you do then? The last? Okay.
I think
Okay.
I might be cheating. I used to take singing lessons, so I know
Okay.
it's
Okay. Yeah, and it's surprising how many people don't. And so when your diaphragm and the breath can't get all the way to the bottom of your lungs and we're just breathing from here, that's also what can create a lot of anxiety and doesn't get us into that parasympathetic nervous system. So we have two nervous systems. We have our sympathetic, which is like stepping on the gas and go, go, go. And then the parasympathetic nervous system is that rest and digest. And if we only breathe from this part and inhale, we can't really get into that nervous system, that parasympathetic, which is that rest and digest. So learning and it can be tricky, especially if you've never breathed like that. It can be a really tricky thing to do. So I want us to just start by putting one hand in your heart and one hand in your belly. And just take a nice deep breath here and see if you can push your hand into in the belly and inhale and you try to expand there. So just like a balloon, you expand everything all the way into your belly and then exhale and let your belly button come towards your spine. So if you've never done that, it's a learned practice to do that. I had to learn to do that. I was a shallow breather and only breathe from the top part of my lungs. So learning to breathe like that and expand into your belly as you inhale and then exhale, soften, which is counter to what you may normally have breathed. So just learning to do that, that's what I like to teach people to do first. So if you've never breathed like that, that can take a while to learn to inhale and expand and then to exhale, soften instead of inhaling and taking your breath and breathing like this. So learning to expand. I always think like I have a little tool I use with kids. It's one of those, I don't even know what it's called. It's like a dome that collapses and then expands, or take a balloon and blow up. So it's more visual. So you can learn to do that too. So you can even take a balloon too. And then when you're inhaling, to try it that way too, to like let your breath out. And then as you or exhale, then the balloon goes out. Inhaling and yeah, so it's different tools. Or another thing too is just putting something on your stomach. With kids, I call it swimming stuffies, and you put something on your stomach and just try to lift it up and down. So, but with one hand in your belly and one hand in your heart works too. But you can visually see if you put something on your stomach too. So just learning to breathe like that. And yeah, so I am also going to just explain about how uh, when we get angry, lots of times we can hold our breath, which triggers our stress response. So if you breathe out, you're literally letting go of steam, which is effective in letting go is more effective than someone saying calming down. So if you breathe out, just you're letting off steam. So let's practice that again. So you can close your eyes or just soften your gaze and try to think of something that makes you angry, maybe something that stressed you out today. And see if you start to tense up. So just close your eyes or soften your gaze and just think of something that and see if you start to tense up and start to hold your breath, and then just let your breath go. So practice that again, thinking of that and noticing how your body feels. And then just let your breath out. So yeah. Does anybody want to pop in and just see if let me know how that felt for you?
I think that I find it like quite relaxing to do like a deep exhale. I think I'm lucky I don't have like anything too upsetting to think about today, but um yeah, just getting to like take a moment even just to like close your eyes to after looking at screens all day, it's kind of nice as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go instead of looking outward, take an introspective look, right? Okay, so I have a fun little one that I like to do too. It's called Breath of Joy. And so if you're feeling kind of stuff, especially this time of night, I know, sorry, what is your name, the elder that's with us?
Calvin.
What, pardon me?
My name's Calvin.
Okay, Kelvin, I know you said you had a busy day.
Yeah.
So we're going to do this exercise, and I just want to know you to notice how you feel right now, especially if it's evening, it's getting dark out. So we can just kind of bring some more energy in. So see how this feels after you do it. Okay, so we can just do this sitting here, but we're going to take our breath. And like I said, try to breathe into that belly. So take an inhale and then bring that breath all the way up and then let it all out. And do that again. Inhale. Let it all out. Do that one more time. So inhaling, belly, bring it all the way up, and then let it all the way out. One more time. Inhale into the belly and bring that breath all the way up and let it all the way out. Okay. That's called breath of joy. Do you feel a little more energized after doing that?
It gives me a cramp. I was inhaling so deep. Yeah, it does. I feel really good now. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a real energizing and it's a really fun way to do and even just moving your arms with it and just bringing that breath and it's called breath of joy. So it just gets everything moving. Like I said, if you had a busy day or even throughout the day, if you get into that, sometimes after you eat and after lunch, so it's just a good way to just get more energy flowing in our, get our nervous system just working with us a little bit more instead of it being in that slump. Okay. So I have another one too. This one is, this is called, it's called a coherence breath. So it equalizes our inhales and exhales. It's my favorite. It pulls you into an even state of mind. So studies are showing to stabilize our heart rate variability, which is how well your heart can bounce back from stress. Your breath can help you stay focused and calm even when faced with uncertainty. A high heart rate variability has been linked to clearer thinking and better reasoning skills. So yeah, this is just learning to stabilize our breath, our inhales and our exhales. So with this one, what we're going to do is I'm going to set a timer, and I want you to practice inhaling and inhaling for the count of 6 and exhaling for the count of 6. And I'm going to just start my timer here. I'll let you know when it's getting close to the end and when it's halfway and close to the end. And we're going to do it for a minute. And I want you to count how many inhales and how many exhales that you do in that minute and count for 6. Is that clear? Inhaling for 6, exhaling for 6. And count how many times you do that for a minute. And I will, start my timer here. So again, if it helps to do it like I say, go inward. And so if you close your eyes or soften your gaze, and I will start the timer here. First of all, let's take a nice big exhale out. So let's all let our breath out. Let our breath out. And then we'll start with an inhale and counting for 6. So I set my timer now. We're going to count for 6. And we're going to exhale for 6. And just do that at your own pace. Inhaling to yourself, just counting to 6. And exhaling, counting for 6. And just keep track of how many times you do that. And we are halfway. And we have 10 seconds left. Okay, so that was 6. So if I can get a little bit of feedback, how many breaths did you do in that minute?
I did about 5.
5? Okay, and Calvin?
I also did 5.
5? Okay, that's pretty good. So they say with doing that, that is actually about 5 breaths per minute that helps that heart rate variability. So you guys, this wasn't a test, but you passed the test if it was. But that's so, and notice that throughout your day. It's something you can check and see when you get busy, like you're probably taking way more than 5 breaths per minute. But but when we take that moment to just count our breath for 6 inhales and 6 exhales. So maybe just something you can check when you're busy in your day and see how many you do. But that's one way we can really practice in just calming down our nervous system. Because I'm just going to share when our nervous system is like it's pumping out cortisol when we're in that in the sympathetic nervous system, and when we're in my glasses on here so I can read all this. The effects of too much excess cortisol in our body is depression, hypertension, chronic fatigue, sleep deprivation, migraines, tunnel vision, acid reflux disease, hostility, hunger, arthritis, decreased immune system, decreased metabolism. So our nervous system health is foundational 100% of the time because that's what happens when it's overactivated is that we end up with this prolonged this is chronic stress and then it becomes um, an illness after a while or disease. So learning how to get out of that nervous system, so that chronic stress and that cortisol is being pumped into our system. And the more we can activate the parasympathetic nervous system, it's gets us into more peaceful, not just makes us more peaceful and and it's responsible for our relaxation and to stabilize. So our key takeaways, nervous system health is always foundational, shifting from stress response, the sympathetic to rest and digest, the parasympathetic system is crucial for maintaining balance and overall well-being. Yeah. Let me know any feedback and any questions or if you want to, if that was helpful.
Feel like you pulled the plug out of me. I just relaxed.
Well, that's good. You said sounded like you needed that after your day.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think, yeah, counting how many breaths is such a good check-in throughout the day. Because yeah, right now I'm quite relaxed. It's, late, it's dark out, we're doing breathwork exercises, so it's quite a relaxing atmosphere. But I know if I was, say, out and about or at a conference or something, it would definitely be quite different. So I think that would be a really useful check if I'm starting to feel maybe a bit stressed or overwhelmed.
Yeah. And then what about the doing that breath of joy? Did you find that made you a little bit more energized?
Yeah, I like that one too. I think that's a really good one for me. I work from home, so I could kind of do that whenever. Um, I think that one would kind of be a fun one maybe for people working in an office too. If you see someone doing like a breath of joy, you have to join in doing too.
Yeah. And then also the letting out the steam, right? And just understanding that when we're holding our breath, like we're really activating that sympathetic nervous system so we can just let our breath go. And because then we're just starting into that fight or flight. So, and it's, like I said, it's something that just to be mindful of. Yeah, I see there's a message there. I'm new to this mindful breathing. I didn't catch that all. Did you, were you able to see that, Katie?
Yeah, it says I'm new to this mindful breathing. It's lovely and calming.
Okay. So yeah, just being aware of our breath, I think is the big thing. If you haven't done any mindfulness, is just being aware of how our breath affects so much of our nervous system. We're just being conscious of it, of how we breathe and that expansion and counting our breath and seeing if we're holding our breath.
I think as I go along in a normal fashion, I don't breathe as deep as I should, or I don't, take it down, as you say, go just that little extra, take
Yeah.
it a little deeper and hold it and then when you let it out, it's a little more powerful. Like just a normal thing, in and out, in and out. I don't take the time to take that little extra uh, gulp or that little extra push out.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
helpful. Yeah.
And that's, say they always, we come in with a breath and we go out with a breath. And our breath is just so powerful. And I think just being more aware of how powerful our breath is and how much it can affect us is just something to be conscious of. So yeah,
Yeah,
just,
that actually
pardon me, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say this also made me think because of this is kind of the time of the year as well, with flu shots and some people might be getting their COVID boosters. I was definitely still am one of those people that kind of struggled with keeping up with those seasonal vaccines because I'm not a huge fan of needles. But I think things like breath work and these exercises, personally, those have really helped me for situations like that. And I know a lot of people also either have like a fear of needles or might not be super comfortable getting different procedures done at like the doctor's office or the dentist or something like that. So I think that's another really good time to practice these. And I know they've helped me personally kind of like lower your blood pressure a little bit and stay a bit more calm in kind of those more stressful situations.
And I just saw Bonnie said that her whole crew would be happier to have a calmer mom. Yeah. And another thing, and just learning to count. Like I know when my kids were small, I used to do that a lot, and I didn't even know that it was actually a practice. But I used to do that a lot. I used to count, like just take a breath with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like I used to do that without even realizing. And yeah, they would know like when I was counting, it was like, okay, mom's trying to calm down here. Not that I always did, but that was one thing when I was conscious of it was yeah, just learning to count and let myself because it's also mindfulness practice then because then you're letting yourself be in the moment. You're conscious of what you're doing instead of like they because and I'm just gonna tell you a little bit about your brain too. Is we have our amygdala brain, which is the at the bottom of our brain, and that is our that's also our fight or flight. And we can react from that instead of getting into the prefrontal cortex part of our brain, is that wise old owl part of our brain. So if we're just acting from there, then we can't activate our higher consciousness of our brain. So learning to like let yourself be in that moment and breathe and get to that more wise old owl prefrontal cortex of your brain instead of just flipping our lid and just acting from that amygdala. It's called the guard dog of your brain, and then you're not getting into that higher consciousness prefrontal cortex of your brain. So really powerful is breath and taking that moment and being mindful. And sometimes when you are overactivated too, another thing to do is if we let if something is really stressing you out, is learning just to like literally like shaking it off so it doesn't stay in your body. Like, I do stuff with teens, and I have an exercise where I'll get them to journal whatever's stressing them out. So I have like space smash therapy. I've only done it once, but it was really super effective, and I should do it more often. But they do have smash therapy in the cities too. And so so what I had them do though was to journal and then take and just smash the plates. And yeah, there was some powerful smashing happening there. And these girls wrote so much stuff. And then they were like, "Can I have another plate?" And I'm like, "Yeah," and wrote stuff down. And so just moving that. So, this breath and calming yourself down is really good. But when you have stuff that you really need to get rid of, it's really good to like do something like shake or just get it rid of it so it doesn't stay in your nervous system too. Like the song Shake It Off. That's another good way. Or like that breath of joy too, just moving stuff out of your body so it doesn't stay stuck.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I was going to actually ask about that too, because I know a few people who sometimes have trouble slowing down, and yeah, if they're a little bit antsy, they like pacing or kind of just doing something active. So I was kind of wondering about like what kind of movements other than like our up and over could you maybe kind of incorporate for I guess people that have a harder time kind of staying in one spot.
Yeah, and there's another thing, it's called rebounding. Um, the course I'm taking right now is my myofascial yoga. and it's about how everything, like our staying in our body, and how have this whole fascia in the system and cells that run through our body. And so sometimes just getting into our body and getting out of our mind so that we can move everything and connect with our body, and then let everything calm down so we can connect, like, to a little deeper. But sometimes we need to get out of our mind and more into our body too. And so people that are pacing lots of times, it's because they're literally pacing and their mind's overactivated, and they just need to get into their body and then settle everything down. So this is what I'm going to stand up for this one just a little bit. There we go. So this is called rebounding. So it's when you just like, you can just kind of sway back and forth, and you can move your body a little bit like that, bring the hands out, you can swing, and it's like you're just like finger painting with your fingers and going up higher. So if anybody wants to try that, we can want to give that a try. So, and then just so just start, Katie, right now. I see you're doing it. And if anybody else is on the Zoom, just notice how your body feels right now, and then just see how you can get everything moving a little bit more and into your body. It's like you're finger painting, and we're just moving everything back and forth. And as you do, you can go up and down, and then maybe you want to like move a little bit deeper, and maybe you want to shake it a little bit. So this is, yeah, called rebounding, just really getting into our bodies here, getting all those cells and everything moving throughout your body. And then just take a moment and then just notice. It's pretty cool because you can feel how, like, you were a vibrating energy system, and you can really feel how everything got moving. Were you able to notice that, Katie?
Yeah, I've actually noticed like a big difference because I
Mm-hmm.
sit at my desk for way too many hours every day. And sometimes I when I get really focused, I kind of lock up a little bit. And then when I eventually do stand up, it's like every joint is cracking and
So there
so
you
yeah,
do.
this
Just
is
get up and just move everything, get everything going. So you have the breath of joy to really bring your breath in, but then that is also just getting your whole energy system going. And then you also notice how your mind, like, can you notice how you're more in your body and not so much in your mind? Did you feel that difference too? I don't, any feedback from, I know Bonnie had said a few things. I don't know if she tried it or not, but just how, sorry, go ahead. I think somebody was trying to say something. There's a Ben on there, I see. Is Ben trying to unmute or? Yeah. I don't know. I thought I heard somebody say something and Ben's screen popped up, but I can't hear anything.
yeah, I don't hear anything. But if you would like to unmute, you can just raise your hand. Or if we can't hear you, you can type in the chat too, and I can read it out for you.
Okay. But yeah, it's just helps like get more out of our thinking mind and into our body sometimes. And so like you said, some people are pacing, but it's more usually well, most of the time it's because our mind is overthinking, and that's just a reaction. So we can really get that get back into our body by doing that rebounding. And then we can calm down. So sometimes, like, that literally calming down and holding our breaths. But so sometimes just not the breath, but it's also our body we need to get into more too. And then we can calm down and take those big six, counts, and the six inhales and exhales. But sometimes we need to just move our body a little bit too. And if there's stuff that you really need to get rid of, like I said, shaking it off, and yeah, there is an exercise called what is it called? It's attention release exercise, that there's actually different things. Sherry just popped up to that. Felt really good. I sit at my desk a lot too, and I tend to tense up when I'm concentrating. Yeah, so give that a try. Yeah, our bodies weren't meant to be mushrooms. We're meant to move. But yeah, it's called attention release exercise, and there is actual different exercises you can do if you're dealing with really like deeper trauma, and so it's the trauma release, and there's different exercises you can do to actually really release that too. So
Kelly Kelvin
sometimes,
here. I spend too much time in my head all the time, and I have to. I like it's just the natural as you say, unwind and relax and just let it go and paint with your fingers, I find myself counting it and I like anticipating it and I'm not at a stage where I could relax enough to do that. So I
Yeah.
imagine what you would recommend is just stick with it and keep working it, right?
Yeah. What
And
I what I
it'll come.
Yeah, and one thing for me that and yeah, I'm definitely in my head a lot too. So, but what I always say like watch your thoughts and don't judge yourself. So just start learning to watch your thoughts instead of becoming your thoughts. Like so if you can just spend some time and then that's really what meditation is about. It's just, just understanding that we are a thought generating machine. And if we can learn to watch our thoughts without becoming our thoughts and just being aware of them. And it's like, yeah, just being that's really what meditation really is about, is just sitting in there and watching those thoughts. And then you start to get a little bit of a higher perspective and realizing you're not your thoughts. You're the person watching your thoughts. And so, yeah, and the more you can breathe and do that, it's just, it's a practice. So was that helpful, Calvin?
Yes, yes, yes. It's just something I'll just sort of have to, as you say, just sort of work it and think it through it and learn to relax. And
Yeah,
I like I could get it because I go to the park a lot with
right.
my dog. And so the idea of sitting there in zero zone is often what I do because that's where he's happiest.
Yeah,
And so I know what you're suggesting, but it's just while I'm in a conversation, I can't get there. I just have to work with it
yeah,
and practice it. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. And nature's great, right? Because it
Yeah.
lets you be in the moment if you really, watch nature, right? That's what nature's all about. Yeah. And for anyone else too, another good thing too, I have an insight timer I use, and it's a really good. There's so many different, and it's free. It's an app, and it's called a little Tibetan bowl, and it's called Insight Timer. And there's lots of different meditation apps that you can use on there too. And that there's yeah, pretty much you name it, you can find it, whether it's nature, exercise, or nature, or different types of meditations for breath work, or yeah, you can pretty much find anything on that. But yeah, just coming back to our breath is the biggest thing we can do though, and just learning how to inhale and exhale. But yeah, Hmm. Yeah, anybody else have any other questions or anything else? And hopefully this is all helpful.
When is the next one?
Sorry, what was that? I couldn't hear.
I
You
mean,
can.
just asked when the next one was. I heard that.
Oh, the next one. For Tea and Talks, we're taking a break next month for the holidays, but we'll be back in January, so it's not
Is
scheduled yet.
no
But
like can you send me the link?
Katie, I don't know if you heard that, but he was just looking for the link, whoever was speaking.
sorry, my laptop's quite quiet right now. I'm having trouble hearing, but if you wanted to type in the chat, that might be a bit easier. Yeah, I think we don't have any questions on YouTube right now. But yeah, I think these were really helpful, and I really liked how you said like painting with your fingertips, and kind of using that visual as opposed to say like something with pacing. I think you can still really be in your own head with kind of repetitive movements like that. But when you kind of think of it as like painting a picture or painting different brush strokes, I think that really helped me personally kind of get more into my body and less in my thoughts. So I think that's a really good exercise. And yeah, if anyone else has any questions, you can write in the comments, or if you'd like to ask something, you can raise your hand and then unmute.
When you can send me the link.
The link? Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. We can actually, this will be on YouTube afterwards as well. So if you want to come back and go through these exercises again, they'll just be on the Métis Nation YouTube page. I can actually get the link for that right now. And yeah, you can do the breathwork exercise. We've got our chair yoga video, so you can get yourself in great shape before the holidays. Do some breathing exercises, do some stretching.
Yeah, and someone had just shared, that the painting exercise help them when you're detached from your body too, helps you get into your body too. So yeah, just big thing is our like I said, our mind is this is a quote that was told to me in one of my trainings, and I really something that stuck with me is that our mind is a uh great servant, but a poor master. So learning to master our mind instead of our mind mastering us. So that's, so getting into our body and doing things so that we don't let our mind, we can use our mind instead of it mastering us. So finding different tools that help you.
Yeah, I think that's all the questions we have. I shared the link to the YouTube video in the comments as well so that you can bookmark that. But yeah, if there's anything else you'd like to share, Shelley, you can go ahead. Otherwise, I think we're good to wrap up for the night.
Yeah. Is there any other questions you have for me?
I'm not seeing anything in the chat. I don't have any. I think this was a really good kind of refresher on breath work, and I think a really good reminder about kind of mindfulness before the holidays, and especially just that time of year when the hours are getting darker, and some of us, it's good to have that little check-in with ourselves.
And I was just going to say too, another thing too, you're talking about the holidays and mindfulness, and there's a really neat practice you can do too. Is just, say if you're having whatever you're eating, it's just taking that time and breathing and actually tasting it instead of just because there's so much stuff around right now. Is that can be a mindfulness practice too. Is instead of indulging, maybe take some of those good treats that we're having and actually spend some time eating it and really tasting the texture and breathing and just being in that moment too, so that we're not just hurrying through everything.
I think it's also a really good reminder for us to take a breath, think things through a little bit before we spout off or react or whatever. It's just take that extra time to just sort of relax and take a pill or whatever you want to call it, just hesitate.
Breathe. Yeah.
Hesitate. No, just breathe. Yeah.
And then that, like I said, when we don't, then that's how we end up with into that sympathetic nervous system, and some people never step out of it, and then that's when it becomes a chronic, because that cortisol is being pumped in, so it's called an acute, is what these symptoms have to happen, and then it becomes a chronic, and then once it becomes chronic, it becomes a disease. So yeah, so it's powerful taking that breath, right? And I'm kind of a quote girl, so I have another one that I really like. It's by Viktor Frankl, who was part of who was in Auschwitz, and with in way back in the war, and he wrote a book. He was a psychologist, and he said, between stimulus and response, that's where our greatest power lies. So sometimes taking that breath, right? And we're stimulated. And these are things that I need to be reminded of all the time too. Stimulus and response, that's where our greatest response is. And so taking that breath so that we don't end up with these chronic illnesses because we're always in that sympathetic nervous system instead of taking that breath and getting into our parasympathetic nervous system. So I think that's all I
Okay.
have to share. If nobody has any more questions. And thank you
Yeah,
for having me.
yeah, thank you so much for sharing those exercises and yeah, just talking with us tonight. And I know I learned a bit about the nervous system and how it works, and I think really practical information too. Not just, a lot of the times we get so much health information and then it's like, okay, but how do I use this? So I think these are just such really good practical things we can do every day to take care of ourselves. And yeah, like you said, with like the chronic illness and things like that, I think it's so important to kind of get to the root of things and just ways that we can support our bodies and yeah, just support ourselves before anything worse happens. And even if we are dealing with different health issues, I think a lot of the times like breath work and mindfulness and just taking care of our mind and our body and our nervous system are so important and help in so many other ways. So I think this was such a fantastic session to have and be able to kind of refer back to. And yeah, something that I think everyone could benefit from. So thank you so much for sharing with us today. And I think this will be like a really useful tool that we can all kind of have in our back pocket going forward.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks again for having me. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you so much. And
Okay.
thank you everyone for joining us either on YouTube or Zoom. Like I said earlier, we are taking a break for the holiday season, so we won't have a Teen Talks in December, but we'll be back in January. So keep an eye out on our socials for the announcement for that date. We'd also love to hear your feedback. So if you have any suggestions for future topics, what you'd like to learn about, we'd love to hear that. So after you exit the Zoom, you will be taken to a short survey. It takes about 2 minutes. But yeah, I'd just like to say thank you to Shelley once again for sharing all this useful information with us. Thank you so much, everyone else, for taking the time out of your evening to join us tonight. And I guess this is our last opportunity before the holidays. I'd just like to say I hope you all have a wonderful time, and I hope you get time to rest and recharge with your families. And we'll see you back here in January. And before we say goodnight, I'll hand it over to Elder Calvin to close off our event in a good way.
Thank you, Katie. Yeah, I was just thinking, I said, the best thing also is this costs absolutely nothing. It's totally free and anybody can do this. And it's just self-care. And I really like the concept of what you said, just relax, take it easy and slow down and go within a little bit and relax. Anyway, with that, I just thank Creator for giving us this opportunity tonight to sit in and relax and enjoy the session and learn a little bit about ourselves and how we can help ourselves to breathe better, breathe deeper, and to get the most out of our day, perhaps, and our movement and things like that. And just thank Creator for uh, ask Creator actually to continue watching over our older brothers and sisters and our elders and our little ones and those that are not doing well and those that are traveling. And I ask Creator also to watch over us that are here on the session, and to watch over us as we enjoy the time and the fellowship with our family and friends over the holidays. And I look forward to speaking with many of you later and in the new year, and wish you all a good evening. And may the rest of your evening be as magnificent as it can be. Hi, hi.